3, 2, 1.
Deep within the lush, green heart of Cambodia, a truly astonishing sight emerges from the jungle. Imagine stone towers shaped like lotus buds reaching for the sky. Picture wide moats like silver ribbons reflecting the clouds. This is Angkor Wat. It is not just a building, it is a ghost of a powerful past, a place wrapped in silence and mystery. For centuries, it was almost completely swallowed by the relentless grip of the forest. Giant tree roots like ancient serpents coiled around its walls, and thick vines draped its galleries. Walking here feels like stepping into a forgotten world, a chapter of human history that nature tried to reclaim. The air itself seems to hum with secrets. As the sun rises, its first golden rays touch the highest towers, making the dark stone glow. The sounds of the jungle, the chatter of unseen birds and the buzz of insects are the only music in this vast stone city. It is easy to feel very small here, standing before something so immense and so old. You can almost hear the echoes of the past, the soft footsteps of monks, the murmur of prayers, and the distant sounds of a bustling capital city that has long since vanished. This feeling of wonder is what draws people from all over the world to this remarkable place. Why is Angkor Wat so special? It is more than just its breathtaking beauty or its incredible size. It is a puzzle waiting to be solved. Who were the people who built this masterpiece with such precision, and where did they go? How did they manage to create such a colossal structure without the machines we have today? The temple holds its stories close, carved into its very stones, but many of its greatest mysteries remain unsolved. It stands as a silent testament to the ingenuity and ambition of a civilization that reached incredible heights before fading away. This magnificent temple is a symbol of Cambodia itself, appearing proudly on its national flag. It represents the soul of a nation and the peak of its ancient glory. But it is also a treasure for all of humanity. It reminds us of what people are capable of achieving, but also how even the greatest empires can disappear. It is a story of creation, of faith, and of the slow, inevitable march of time. Join us as we journey back through the centuries to explore the secrets of Angkor Wat and the incredible Khmer Empire that brought it to life. Long before the jungle claimed these stones, this land was the heart of the great Khmer Empire. Around 900 years ago, this kingdom was one of the most powerful and advanced in Southeast Asia. Its influence stretched across modern-day Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. The Khmer kings were not just rulers, they were seen as god kings, earthly representatives of the divine. They built magnificent cities and temples to honor their gods and to showcase their own power. At the center of this sprawling empire was its capital, the city of Angkor, a bustling metropolis that was, at the time, one of the largest pre-industrial cities in the world. The story of Angkor Wat begins with one of these great kings, a man named Suryavarman II. He came to the throne in the early 12th century and wanted to create a monument that would be his spiritual home. It was to be a temple dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, the preserver and protector of the universe. But it was also meant to be something more. The king intended for it to be his own mausoleum, a final resting place where his soul would be united with the god after his death. This was a project of immense ambition, designed to last for an eternity and to stand as the ultimate symbol of his reign. The temple was designed to be a miniature replica of the Hindu cosmos, a model of the universe on Earth. The central towers were built to represent Mount Meru, the mythical five-peaked mountain that is the home of the gods and the center of the universe in Hindu belief. The vast moat surrounding the entire complex symbolized the cosmic ocean that was believed to encircle the world. The concentric walls and galleries represented the mountain ranges that surround Mount Meru. To walk through Angkor Wat was to take a symbolic journey to the center of all creation, a pilgrimage to the abode of the gods. Building such a structure was a monumental task. It is estimated that it took more than 30 years and involved hundreds of thousands of workers, including some of the most skilled artisans and engineers of the time. They quarried millions of tons of sandstone from a mountain over 50 kilometers away and transported it to the site, likely using a network of canals. Every stone was cut with incredible precision and fitted together without mortar, held in place by their own weight and expert joinery. The entire project was a statement of the Khmer Empire's immense wealth, its powerful organization, and its deep spiritual devotion. The architectural genius of Angkor Wat is simply staggering. The temple complex covers a vast area of over 162 hectares, or 400 acres, making it the largest religious monument in the world. Its design is a perfect blend of grandeur and harmony. The entire structure is built on a massive raised platform, which makes it seem to float above the surrounding landscape. As you approach, you cross a long stone causeway over the moat, passing through an impressive outer gate. This journey is carefully designed to build a sense of anticipation and reverence, preparing the visitor for the sacred space within its walls. What makes the design truly remarkable is its incredible mathematical precision. The builders of Angkor Wat were master astronomers and mathematicians. The temple is perfectly aligned with the sun. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun rises directly over the central tower when viewed from the western entrance. This is no accident. It was a deliberate feature that connected the temple to the cycles of the sun and the seasons, reinforcing its role as a model of the cosmic order. The dimensions of the temple, its causeways and its galleries are all based on complex measurements derived from Hindu cosmology and astronomy, creating a perfect symmetry. The walls of Angkor Wat are like a giant stone storybook. Its galleries are decorated with nearly a kilometer of continuous bas-relief carvings, some of the most magnificent in the world. These intricate carvings tell stories from Hindu mythology, depicting epic battles between gods and demons, scenes from the great epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and processions of the king and his army. One of the most famous galleries is the churning of the ocean of milk, a creation myth where gods and demons pull on a giant serpent to churn the cosmic ocean and create the elixir of immortality. These carvings are not just decoration, they were meant to educate and inspire awe. Every detail, from the largest tower to the smallest carving of a celestial dancer, known as an apsara, was executed with incredible skill. There are nearly 2,000 of these apsaras carved into the walls, each one unique with different hairstyles, clothing, and expressions. The level of detail shows the immense care and artistry that went into the temple's creation. The Khmer artisans could make hard sandstone look as soft as silk and as lifelike as flesh. Standing within these galleries, surrounded by these ancient stories, one can feel the immense creative energy that flowed through this place centuries ago. The Khmer Empire did not become a superpower by chance. Its greatness was built on several key strengths that allowed it to flourish for over 600 years. First and foremost were its powerful and ambitious rulers. These god kings like Suryavarman II and later Jayavarman VII commanded immense authority. They were able to mobilize vast resources and manpower to undertake enormous construction projects, not just temples like Angkor Wat, but entire cities, road networks, and hospitals. Their leadership provided the vision and the driving force behind the empire's expansion and its incredible cultural achievements. They were the architects of its glory. Religion was the glue that held the empire together. Initially, the Khmer were predominantly Hindu, and their faith shaped their worldview, their art, and their architecture. The temples were not just places of worship, but were the economic and administrative centers of their regions. Later, Buddhism became more prominent, and the focus shifted from Hindu gods to Buddhist principles of compassion and enlightenment. This religious devotion inspired the creation of some of the most sublime works of art and architecture the world has ever seen. It gave people a shared sense of purpose and identity, uniting them under their king and their gods. Perhaps the most remarkable achievement of the Khmer was their mastery of water. They lived in a land of extremes, a long dry season followed by a torrential monsoon season. To survive and prosper, they needed to control the water. The Khmer engineers designed and built a sophisticated and massive water management system. This included a network of canals, dikes, and enormous reservoirs called barrays. The West Baray, for example, is a man-made lake measuring 8 by 2 kilometers. This system allowed them to store monsoon water for the dry season, enabling them to grow multiple rice crops a year and support a huge population in their capital city. This control over water was the true foundation of the empire's wealth and power. It guaranteed a stable food supply, which in turn allowed for a large, non-farming population of artisans, soldiers, priests, and administrators who could dedicate their time to building and running the empire. This agricultural surplus funded the magnificent temples and supported the vast armies that expanded Khmer territory. The ability to tame the landscape and harness its resources was the ultimate expression of the Khmer's ingenuity and the key to their long-lasting success in the region. Even the mightiest empires eventually face their end, and the Khmer Empire was no exception. After centuries of dominance, its power began to wane. By the 15th century, the great city of Angkor was largely abandoned, and the capital was moved south, closer to what is now Phnom Penh. The magnificent temples, including Angkor Wat, were left to the encroaching jungle. The reasons for this decline are, complex and still debated by historians. It was likely not just one single event, but rather a combination of factors that slowly eroded the foundations of this once great civilization, leading to its eventual collapse. One of the leading theories points to environmental problems. The very water management system that was the source of the empire's strength may have become its weakness. Centuries of deforestation to clear land for rice paddies and to provide wood for construction and fuel could have led to soil erosion and damaged the delicate hydrological network. A series of prolonged droughts followed by intense monsoons, as suggested by studies of ancient tree rings, may have overwhelmed the system, causing both water shortages and catastrophic floods. The empire's lifeblood, water, may have in a way turned against it. Another significant factor was pressure from outside. The Khmer Empire was increasingly beset by conflict with its powerful and growing neighbors, particularly the kingdoms of Ayutthaya in the west, in what is now Thailand, and Champa in the east, in what is now Vietnam. A series of devastating wars and invasions weakened the empire, draining its resources and manpower. In 1431, a major invasion by the forces of Ayutthaya is believed to have sacked the capital city of Angkor. This event may have been the final blow that prompted the Khmer court to relocate, leaving the city vulnerable. Finally, a shift in religion may have also played a role. The transition from Hinduism to Theravada Buddhism in the 13th and 14th centuries brought with it a change in values. Theravada Buddhism was a more personal and less hierarchical faith. It did not require the building of massive stone temples for god-kings. The focus shifted to personal enlightenment and living a simpler life. This change in belief may have, undermined the authority of the god-king and the entire social structure that was built to support the massive construction projects of the past, making the old ways of life in Angkor obsolete. As with any place so ancient and grand, Angkor Wat is shrouded in myths and legends that seek to explain its miraculous existence. These stories have been passed down through generations, adding to the temple's aura of mystery. One of the most popular legends claims that the temple was not built by human hands at all. It was said to have been constructed in a single night by a divine architect named Preah Pisnogar, who was sent down from the heavens by the god Indra. This legend helped to explain the incredible speed and perfection of the construction, attributing it to the work of the gods themselves. Another fascinating theory, this one more modern, connects the layout of the Angkor temples to the stars. Some researchers have proposed that the main temples of the Angkor complex were deliberately arranged on the ground to mirror the pattern of the constellation Draco, as it would have appeared in the sky during the spring equinox in 10,500 BC. This theory is highly controversial among mainstream archaeologists, but it captures the imagination. It suggests that the Khmer builders had an even deeper understanding of astronomy than we currently believe, and that they were trying to create a connection between their kingdom on Earth and the cosmos above. The purpose of the temple itself continues to be a source of debate. While it is widely accepted that it was built as a funerary temple for King Suryavarman II, some details remain puzzling. For instance, unlike most Hindu temples, Angkor Wat is oriented to the west. The west is typically associated with death in Hindu tradition, which supports the theory that it was a tomb. However, some scholars suggest that the western orientation might also be related to its dedication to Vishnu, who is sometimes associated with the West. The true full meaning behind its unique alignment is a puzzle that historians are still piecing together. These legends and theories, whether ancient myths or modern hypotheses, are part of what makes Angkor Wat so captivating. They fill the gaps in our historical knowledge with wonder and imagination. They remind us that there is still so much we do not know about the people who conceived of and built this masterpiece. The stones may tell us stories of gods and kings, but they remain silent on many of the deeper questions about their beliefs, their motivations, and the full extent of their knowledge. The mystery is as much a part of Angkor Wat as its carved walls and towering spires. Although the city of Angkor was abandoned by the Khmer court in the 15th century, Angkor Wat itself was never truly lost or forgotten. While many of the surrounding temples were completely consumed by the jungle, Angkor Wat's vast moat protected it from the worst of the vegetation. It remained a place of pilgrimage for Buddhist monks who cared for the temple and adapted it for their own worship. They added statues of the Buddha and kept its corridors clear, ensuring that this sacred place continued to live on, even as the empire that built it faded into history. The temple was introduced to the wider world in the mid-19th century, largely through the writings of French explorers like Henri Mouhot. While he was not the first European to visit, his vivid descriptions and detailed sketches published after his death captured the imagination of the West. He wrote of a structure grander than anything left to us by Greece or Rome, sparking a wave of interest and wonder. This led to decades of research and restoration work, primarily by French archaeologists, who began the painstaking process of clearing the jungle and stabilizing the ancient structures. Today, Angkor Wat is the heart of Cambodian national pride and a powerful symbol of the country's resilience. After decades of tragic civil war and turmoil in the 20th century, the temple has become a beacon of hope and a source of identity for the Cambodian people. It is a reminder of the incredible artistic and cultural heights their ancestors achieved. The silhouette of Angkor Wat is the central feature of the Cambodian flag, a constant presence in the daily lives of its people. For them, it is not just an ancient monument, it is the soul of their nation. The work of discovery at Angkor is far from over. Modern technology, such as aerial laser scanning known as LiDAR, has allowed archaeologists to see through the dense jungle canopy. This has led to astonishing discoveries, revealing the true vast extent of the ancient city of Angkor. Scientists have uncovered a sprawling urban network of roads, canals, and neighborhoods, showing that the city was even larger and more complex than previously imagined. Each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, deepening our understanding of this incredible civilization and reminding us that the jungle still holds many secrets. Angkor Wat stands today as a powerful link between the past and the present. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized as a treasure belonging to all of humanity. Millions of visitors from across the globe make the journey to Cambodia each year to witness its majesty for themselves. They come to walk its ancient causeways, to marvel at its intricate carvings, and to feel the profound sense of peace that permeates its hallowed halls. The temple serves as a global ambassador for Cambodian culture, inviting the world to learn about its rich and fascinating history. The legacy of the Khmer Empire is not only found in stone, but also in the living culture of Cambodia. The classical dance of the Royal Ballet of Cambodia, with its graceful movements and elaborate costumes, echoes the poses of the apsaras carved on the temple walls. The stories from the Ramayana depicted in the bas-reliefs are still told and performed in villages across the country. The deep religious faith, which transitioned from Hinduism to Buddhism, continues to be a central part of Cambodian life. Angkor Wat is not a relic of a dead civilization. It is the root from which much of modern Cambodian identity has grown. The temple also offers us a profound lesson about the relationship between humanity and nature. For centuries, the jungle worked to reclaim what had been built, with giant trees and vines slowly prying the stones apart. The ongoing struggle to preserve Angkor Wat is a delicate balance between conserving a man-made wonder and respecting the power of the natural world that surrounds it. It reminds us that even the most enduring human creations are ultimately subject to the slow, persistent forces of nature and the relentless passage of time. In the end, Angkor Wat's greatest legacy may be its enduring sense of mystery. Despite all that we have learned through a century of research, the temple still holds its secrets close. It challenges us to imagine a world so different from our own and to appreciate the depth of knowledge and faith that could create such a wonder. It teaches us that history is not just a collection of facts, but a grand, unfolding story with missing pages. Angkor Wat invites us to be curious, to ask questions, and to stand in awe of the beauty and complexity of the human journey. What then is the final message that Angkor Wat sends to us across the centuries? It is, first and foremost, a testament to the incredible potential of human creativity and cooperation. It shows us that when people are united by a shared vision and a powerful belief, they can achieve things that seem almost impossible. The construction of this vast stone universe, with its perfect symmetry and breathtaking artistry, stands as one of the greatest achievements of the pre-industrial world. It is a celebration of human ingenuity, skill, and sheer determination that continues to inspire us today. Yet, it also carries a more sobering message. The story of Angkor Wat is inseparable from the story of the Khmer Empire's decline. It reminds us that no civilization, no matter how powerful or advanced, is permanent. It teaches us about the fragility of human societies and how they can be undone by environmental change, conflict, and shifting beliefs. The silent, empty corridors of Angkor speak of this impermanence. They urge us to be mindful of the foundations upon which our own societies are built and to learn from the successes and failures of those who came before us. For the young adventurer and the curious mind, Angkor Wat offers a world of discovery. It is a place that sparks the imagination and encourages a love for history, art, and science. Exploring its galleries is like being an archaeologist on a grand expedition. Every corner turned reveals a new carving, a new perspective, a new question. Why was this face carved with a smile? What story does this battle scene tell? How did they lift these enormous stones? Angkor Wat is a giant open-air classroom that teaches us not just about the past, but about how to observe, question, and appreciate the world around us. Ultimately, the enduring beauty of Angkor Wat lies in its ability to connect with something deep inside all of us. It is a place of profound peace and spiritual power. Whether you are watching the sunrise paint the towers in hues of pink and gold, or tracing the ancient stories carved in stone, you feel a connection to the generations of people who have stood in this very spot. It is a reminder that while empires may rise and fall, the human quest for meaning, beauty, and a connection to something larger than ourselves is a story that never ends. Angkor Wat is not just history, it is a timeless piece of the human spirit.